Hello, welcome to my very first attempt at LTCing, a 100% gross, rigged combat, difficult mode, Ephraim route LTC of Sacred Stones. However, as you may be able to guess from the title of this video, there is a twist. Everyone is an archer or a bow using class. So this is a ROM hack called Oops All Archers Evolved, which was made by Heroic Vileplume. I put the FE Universe link in the description. Since this is a strange format, where I remember to, I will comment on general points I think are helpful if you were to play this hack for context. This is my first attempt at all of an LTC, game footage recording, commentary, and messing with game files. This means, for example, that a lot of my methods of rigging combat involve primarily setting the hit and crit of the relevant weapons, so that's why it says -1 hit, 100 crit. And for any proc skills, which will show up later, setting the relevant unit skill stat to 100. On all of these things, please bear with me in my inexperience. So naturally we have Erica here, and we have Seth as a ranger. So Erica's repair has been replaced by the cleave bow, which is a 2-range bow that also has repair effectiveness and gives her pass while it's equipped. So this hack uses the skills patch, so Erica's charisma skill here provides a hit and avoid aura that won't be that important in this context, due to the rigging, and then Seth has Savior, making him very useful. They both also have leadership stars, granting all allied units a hit and avoid bonus. So Seth here is my intended Formortis 1-round KO killer with Odholmer, which at capped strength and speed, he will be able to do with a single crit. I don't currently think that getting Seth to S swords will be an issue, because that only requires him to get to 251 weapon experience from 121 at base, and he's going to be a very important combat unit throughout the course of the game. So I don't currently know whether or not I need Erica to reach any relevant kill thresholds, so I'll give her kills where they don't interfere with my short and long-term goals. So she kills this first fighter, and Seth takes this other one on enemy phase. So you may have noticed that Seth has gotten a lot of experience from this. I'm not sure why, but Oops All Archers Evolved, specifically, seems to give rangers a very high amount of experience per kill. This makes it much easier to reach the experience thresholds for Seth. So, due to the crit moment, Erica can't chip down this boss, and I don't think that it's helpful for her to reach this kill. So instead, Seth once again kills with the sword, for a pretty standard 2-turn clear of the prologue. So Seth gets a level, and yes, it is confusing that the magic conclusion makes it like there's been a con level. Rest assured, you're not the only one who might be confused by this. So, you may notice that the enemy layout looks a bit different. Evolved, specifically, includes some iconic archers from across the series, meaning that Brigitte has been replaced by Bernie. So, Chapter 1 is a 3-turn clear that requires Seth to move his full movement on both turns 1 and 2, so he has to move to this tile here, and then from this tile he has to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to drop Erica to the north, which will allow her to seize on turn 3. That means that because this tile here that Seth needs to get to is in range of this fighter here has to die from getting chipped or killed by Erica, because otherwise Seth's movement will be blocked off, making this completely impossible. So Seth trades the iron bow with Erica, equips it, rescues her, and then moves the full movement. So, since I edited the iron bow, yeah, but I just had 89 crit and will normally crit him. However, Seth is Seth, so doesn't care about that. Before the crit edit, this wasn't completely reliable, because Bernie can roll up speed to have 10 speed instead of 9, meaning that Seth cannot double her, and kill her, for sure. And there's that fight that I mentioned before. So on turn 2, we have some new units. So Franz is here. Franz is not very important in this LTC context, not least because he's both level 1 and not a cav. In the general run context though, he can be quite helpful because Seal Attack applies on both phases even if he doesn't counter the enemy. However, Gilliam here is much more important. He's a hunter, which has an alternate promotion path choice from the archer class that Franz is in. One of these promotions is Wyvern Knight, which both flies and has Luna, giving a skill % chance to negate enemy defense entirely. So if possible, I would like him to be able to reach promotion level as a short-term goal for maps such as Phantom Ship and Floorspell's Oath. Anyway, Seth moves to the required tile, equips the Steel Sword, and then drops Erica to the north. There's then the question of whether or not we're going to attack this soldier, and I think the answer to this is yes, because as mentioned, I want to train Gilliam. And then Franz exists to provide moral support. Over enemy phase, Seth kills those 2 soldiers there, and he gets another level up. And then that fighter tries to attack Gilliam now. So on turn 3, Gilliam kills the fighter that just tried to attack him. So because of the cleave bow, Erica, strictly speaking, we do not strictly need to actually kill this fighter here, because Erica can just seize. However, I'd rather get some experience and also my sword rank sooner rather than later. And then Erica seizes in a 3-turn clear of the first chapter. Okay, so that's the Prologue and Chapter 1 complete. As is standard, we get our Frillian 5,000 gold, and we get access to both Mulder and Vanessa, who we'll look at now. So Mulder is a mage archer, and he cannot use staves. Since male mage archer cannot promote into any mounted classes, this means that despite his very good stats at this point in the game, and his rally resistance, which can be helpful in a normal playthrough of this ROM hack, he will not be relevant as a long-term unit in the context of this playthrough. Vanessa, however, like Gilliam, can promote into a flying class in the form of Kinchi Knight, and as a scout, has 1 more movement than the other base archer classes. This makes her an additional experience target in this version 1.0, because we currently have just Seth, who will gain the experience he needs to naturally, Gilliam, who also can't be everywhere all at once, and Erica, who can get kills where I want her to. So taking final stock of the army here, Erica and Gilliam have both gotten 2 kills apiece, and Seth has gotten a couple of levels. Cool. So I think I'm going to end the video there, because Chapter 2 can pose some problems depending on if enemies roll up some stats, even with the 100% growth context. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you for Chapter 2 and beyond.